right now, something is happening on American soil that only comes around once every 4 years. 48 countries, 104 matches, one trophy. And if you have no idea what the FIFA World Cup actually is, or why half the planet loses their mind over it, you're about to find out. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what's happening, how it works, and why people genuinely cry over a ball going into a net. Let's start with the obvious question. What even is the World Cup? Think of it like the Olympic, but for one sport only, football or soccer if you're American. Every 4 years, the best national teams on earth go head to head in a massive tournament to crown the single greatest football nation in the world. Not a club, not a city, country. That's what makes it different from anything else in sports. When you watch the World Cup, you're not cheering for a team someone bought. You're cheering for where you're from, your flag. That's why grown adults are sobbing in parking lots when their country loses. It hits different. Now here's what makes 2026 special and genuinely historic. This is the biggest World Cup ever held, not by a little, by a lot. Previous tournaments had 32 teams. This one has 48. That's 16 extra countries who get to show up and potentially shock the world. And for a sport where smaller nations like Cameroon once eliminated Argentina, that matters enormously. The tournament runs from June 11th all the way to July 19th. And for the first time in World Cup history, 3 countries are hosting together: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. 16 cities, 3 nations, 1 champion. Final will be played on July 19th at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, right outside New York City. And here's a detail that tells you how seriously America is taking this. The halftime show for the World Cup final is going to be produced with Coldplay involved, modeled after the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl for football. That's how big this is, okay? So how does it actually work? Here's where people get confused. Let's fix that. The tournament has 2 main stages: the group stage and the knockout stage. Think of the group stage like the regular season in football or basketball. Teams are split into 12 groups, labeled A through L. Each group has 4 teams. Every team plays the other 3 teams in their group. Win a game, you get 3 points. Draw, that's a tie. You get 1 point. Lose, you get nothing. At the end of the group stage, the 2 teams with the most points in each group move on. Here's the twist in 2026. The 8 best third-place finishers also advance. So 32 teams total survive the group stage. That means even if you finish third in your group, you're not necessarily done. You might still be alive. That's huge for smaller nations, keeps things interesting. Then comes the knockout stage, and this is where football becomes absolutely brutal. 1 game, win or go home, no second chances. The knockout stage goes round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the final. If a knockout match is tied after 90 minutes, you get 30 extra minutes called extra time. If it's still tied after that, penalty shootout. 5 players from each team take turns kicking the ball from 12 yards out, them and the goalkeeper. And the entire country watches, barely breathing. Some of the most heartbreaking moments in sports history have come from penalty shootouts. England has lost so many of them that their own fans developed a coping mechanism. They call it tournament experience. It means losing on penalties so many times you get used to it. Now let's talk about who's actually in this thing. 48 countries qualified for 2026. Few names matter more than others right now. Argentina is the defending champion. They won the last World Cup in Qatar in 2022. Led by Lionel Messi, widely considered the greatest player to ever play this sport, they're ranked number 1 in the world going in. But defending a World Cup title is notoriously hard. Only Brazil has ever won back-to-back, and that was in 1958 and 1962. Spain are the favorites for many experts. They have an 18-year-old named Lamine Yamal, who is already being compared to the greatest players on earth at 18. Let that sink in. France and England are also in the conversation. Portugal, with Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi's rival and arguably the second best player of his generation, are still fighting. And the United States, they're in Group D, playing at home with a genuinely exciting young team. This might be the most important World Cup moment for American soccer in a generation. Here's something that surprises most people. The 1994 World Cup, last time the United States hosted, still holds the record for the most attended World Cup in history. Over 3.6 million fans showed up across the tournament. America didn't even care that much about soccer in 1994. Imagine what 2026 looks like. That record is almost certainly getting broken this summer. One more thing you need to know, the money involved is staggering. The prize fund for 2026 is 50% higher than the last World Cup. Every team that even shows up gets at least $10.5 million just for participating. Team that wins the whole thing, they take home $40 million. Context, the most watched sporting event on earth, the Super Bowl, has the team players earning bonuses around $150,000 each. World Cup winners split $40 million as a country. This isn't just a tournament, it's a statement. So here's the full picture: 48 countries, 16 cities across the US, Canada, and Mexico. 104 games from June 11th, July 19th. A group stage where everyone fights for survival, and a knockout stage where one loss ends everything.